Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about some new palettes from ColourPop. These were previously Ulta exclusive and now they're available on the ColourPop site. They have this little carousel theme. They're called Ticket to Dreamland and On a Whimsy. They both have a very colorful carousel theme. They're priced at $18 US a piece. I went on the ColourPop site myself just to double check. My affiliate code, just my first name, Amanda, does apply to the individual products as well as the sets. So right now the brush set is actually sold out individually, but this A Dream Come True set that has both palettes and the brush set is still available, and you can use codes even on the already very nicely discounted little value sets. So I just wanted you to be aware that that's an option and codes do apply to these new products. On the Ulta site, there are a few other pieces in this collection, some color sticks, some lippies. I did not order any of those, and ColourPop did not send them to me in PR. So I have absolutely no insight on those for you. I am so sorry. But I do have both palettes, and ColourPop sent me the little brush set that was also released alongside these palettes. So we're going to take a look at the brush set and each one of the palettes. And I'm going to give you as much info as I can, close-ups, prices, swatches, comparisons. I'm going to do a little tutorial using the Ticket to Dreamland palette. Let's start with the brush set. This is the Such a Wonder set, and it's priced at $19, which seems like a pretty darn good value considering they're saying this has a $50 value. Let's get up close and personal with this Such a Wonder brush set. Like the sticker here tells us, this little brush set is priced at $19 US. And it is individually sold out on the ColourPop site right now, but it is still available in a bundle with the palettes. So if you are very interested in this, especially if you're interested in the palettes as well, then this is still available in that set. This would be a phenomenal gift. The way that it's packaged is very, very secure. So the cup is secured into the box, and then the little cup has like a foam pad in the bottom with cutouts for the brushes to keep them in place upright, and they shouldn't get banged up in transit or anything like that. That little styrofoam piece does completely remove, so the brush cup just is useful without that as well. We have 3 face brushes and 3 eye brushes in this set. These are all synthetic bristles. They are super, super soft, flexible, fluffy, of course, completely cruelty-free because they're not natural hair. And I am a huge fan of ColourPop brushes, so I really like this set. Now let's move on to the palettes. I want to start with this On a Whimsy palette. I just have to say, I love this packaging design. I never would have dreamed this up myself as something that I would really, really love. But this is just so cute. It's so fun. It's very pretty. It has a magical, festive, fun time feel to it. And I love that. I think this is very appropriate for the holidays. It fits ColourPop. And it's also got a lot of universal appeal, some nostalgia. It has very luxurious raised details. We have no eye safety warnings on the backs of either one of these palettes. I'll talk a little bit more about that with the Ticket to Dreamland palette, but I want to show you the inside here. There is a nice big mirror inside of both of these palettes, and these are 12 pan palettes. You can see the shade names next to the pans inside. This On a Whimsy palette has 7 mattes and 5 shimmers. We are getting some different textures, some different finishes out of these shimmers. No pressed glitters and no mattes with glitter. I also want to mention that these are the large pans. We're getting those 26mm pans and that similarly heavier, more luxurious feeling packaging, just like the Limoncello palette pictured here had. So if you've felt that one and seen that one, these are very similar. Now that you've seen the On a Whimsy palette close up, let's take a look at some swatches and comparisons with this palette, and then we'll move on to Ticket to Dreamland. I think you can tell from the swatches here, especially for a lighter, more pastel type of palette, these swatches are very impressive, very consistent, and the brush swatches, especially with these pastel-y mattes, are incredibly pigmented. Very, very interesting color combo here. I'm typically not much of a pastel, cool tones, kind of lighter leaning shadows type of person, and I have created some really cute looks with this palette by mixing the warmer and cooler toned mattes together, and I've especially loved using the little pale green and pale blue all over the lid. I am honestly very, very impressed with this palette. Of course, I'm going to show you some comparisons. You know we love comparison time on this channel. This is the first palette that I thought of, and you can see here it is a pretty decent comparison. While nothing is lacking some of the depth Anna Whimsy has, and Anna Whimsy is overall giving us some more cool tones, but not very, very different. Now, So Very Lovely is another one that I thought of because this is a more pastel palette to come out from ColourPop this year. Overall, not super similar. I think these, in reality, would make fantastic companion palettes to give you two sides of that pastel coin. Off Melrose was a last-minute comparison addition for me, and I think overall we are seeing some similar ideas color story-wise, but again, I think these are better as companion palettes than comparison palettes. These could be sisters, but they're definitely not twins. Now let's talk about Ticket to Dreamland. So let's take a close-up look at this Ticket to Dreamland palette now. Very similar styling here. We're just getting a little bit of a color difference, and Ticket to Dreamland has these sort of firework illustrations in the background as well. But same feeling of the packaging. We've got the same raised metallic gold details. Again, no eye safety warnings on this one, which I think there probably is a glitter shade in here, but when the particles of the glitter are small enough, they're not required to put a warning on them. So the smaller little glitters are safer around the cornea region, but a lot of people are still adverse to glitters in general. And I have had somebody recently comment saying they're allergic to all of the PET glitter shades, so just be aware of that. I would say there's 3 mattes, 4 shimmers, 1 glitter. I'll call it a kind of glitter, but it's definitely a glitter, that gold shade. And then the whole bottom row are 4 mattes with glitter in them, so sequin mattes. Now it's time to look at some swatches. As always, finger swatches on top, brush swatches below. I'll show you all of those finger and brush swatches for this Ticket to Dreamland palette, and then I'll jump right into a few comparisons for you as well. I'm so happy to see a more complex color scheme coming out from ColourPop. Both of these palettes do offer us both warm and cool tones. This Ticket to Dreamland palette does have a lot more range of depth. There's a wider variety of light, medium, and deep shades offered in this palette, and I do think that these two palettes work really well together. It's a very inspiring combination for me. I like the challenge of finding interesting or different from what I've done in the past color combos, and these two palettes are really inspiring me in that way. However, I think you'll be surprised to see how similar a lot of these semi-recent palettes really are when you break them down and put them side by side. The 4 shimmers in the middle is what drew me to do this comparison, and I think those are really the biggest overlap. But yeah, Witching Hour is giving us a lot of the same vibes here. So Jaded is one I pull a lot for comparisons, and you can see why here. This is almost a dead ringer, and you know, it's a lot easier to do these 1-for-1 matches when you have so many shades to choose from, like the 30 pan mega palettes. And that's another reason why I also grab my It's a Mood palette a lot. This It's a Mood has been a hero of comparisons this year. I've included it in so many comparison videos since it launched, and you really can get so many of these color stories from this It's a Mood palette. It really is a mood. Now that you've seen all those swatches, I want to show you a quick tutorial using the Ticket to Dreamland palette to get this eye look that I'm wearing today, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I gotta be honest with you, this doesn't happen very often. I typically have some things that I love and some things that I don't love. But of these three products, I really like all three of them. I've always been a huge fan of the ColourPop brushes. I don't think they get enough hype. They're high performing, they're well made. The brushes in this little brush cup are really pretty. I've had some of my ColourPop brushes for many years and they've held up so well, better than some more expensive brushes that I have in my collection. I use them daily and I just think they're great. Totally an underrated, underhyped product from ColourPop. I'm pretty much always going to recommend their brush sets because they're such a good deal and you just get such a quality product for your investment. Now, when it comes to the palettes, when I first saw these, I didn't think I was going to be very interested in Whimsy. This is a lot lighter, a lot more pastel, a lot more cool toned than what I typically go for. And I am pleasantly surprised by this. My main complaint with this palette is that some of the shades are a little bit too similar. I wish we had a little bit more variety here. I think these two mattes on the bottom are too similar. And I don't think there's enough variation in these lighter kind of dusty pink shades. I wish that we would have seen maybe a mint green or a powder blue or something else to kind of add a little spice to this color story. But overall, I like it a lot more than I thought I would. There's some really special shades in here. This shade called So Ferris, you can't tell just from looking at it in the pan, but this is a super cool, shifty white to mint green little duochrome shade that's just unlike anything else I've seen ColourPop do, at least not in many years. So I love that we're getting a little surprise, a little whimsy, if you will, in this palette. I'm way more impressed with it than I thought I was going to be. Color story wise, I'm a lot more interested in the Ticket to Dreamland palette. This one is giving way more variation and depth. We're getting a great variety of color in here. I love jewel tones. I love that we're getting light, medium, and deep. There's a range of finishes in here. There are some finishes in here that I personally don't love. This shade Step Right Up is very glitter-esque. I'm sure that it probably does contain glitter. It just doesn't have an eye safety warning because the particles are really small. Still not my preference. I at least worry less for your corneas with this type of glitter, but it's still just not my favorite type of finish. And then we do have a lot of these sequin shades or the mattes with glitter. Another not really favorite finish of mine. I wish that I could sort of combine these two palettes, mix and match my favorite shades from each. Technically I could do that because these pans are magnetic, so you can pop them out and swap them around. If your life's work is doing palette comparisons, that's not really a good direction to go. But for everybody else, you can definitely swap them around if you want to curate a different color story. Despite the fact that there are a couple little tweaks that I would make to these palettes, overall, they're so much fun. All in all, I really, really like both of them. The packaging is absolutely beautiful. It's so fun. It's so inviting and festive. I'm happy to see ColourPop doing something more color forward with a little bit more offbeat color scheme. These aren't neutral palettes. They aren't monochromatic palettes. They aren't rainbow palettes. They are curated color stories with a little unexpected twist. Formula-wise, I think these are softer, silkier, and more blendable than a few of the 9 pans that I've reviewed of late. When it came to the little holiday 9 pans, like Lock It Down, Charm School, all those, and even the Mandalorian palette, I had some more stiffness and more dryness in those shades, particularly the mattes, than I would have liked. And these don't feel like that at all. These feel really rich, really soft, very blendable, silky, all the words you want to hear when you're talking about an eyeshadow. I hope that this is the track that ColourPop continues down, with this really fun, fanciful packaging, unexpected color stories, not feeling so locked into a neutral, a monochromatic, a rainbow, but really doing a color story that's a little bit different. I'm happy to see it. I'm inspired. I'm having fun with these palettes, and that's really what I want at the end of the day. Speaking of having fun with palettes, I ordered these when they launched at Ulta, and then ColourPop sent them to me in PR. So that means I have an extra one of each of these palettes. And you know what I like to do when I have an extra palette? I like to do a giveaway. So if you go and check the description box, you can find all the details for this giveaway, all the rules, all the deadlines, and there's a little link. You just click that link, enter your info there. All your info is completely private. Nobody can access it except for me. And my biggest concern is keeping you safe and happy and secure and healthy. So fear not, I'm not going to give your information to anybody else. Definitely go and enter that giveaway if you want to win one of these palettes. And keep an eye on your email because I will email the winners directly. I'll pick 2 winners. One person will get on a Whimsy and one person will get ticket to Dreamland, and I will just mail it to your house. Happy holidays. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this collection. Are you interested? Have you tried these? Which one of these palettes do you prefer? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Okay. Dang it. Cannot speak today. I love ColourPop brushes. Do I say that too much? Who's to say what too much is? Hopefully not you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So much to do. So much to see. So much to swatch. Want to hear something amazing? I have all of my Christmas gifts already ordered. By the time the calendar changed to December 1st, I had all of my Christmas presents already purchased. They're not all here yet because I buy a bunch of stuff from Etsy and small businesses. It usually takes a little bit longer. That's why I order so early. Support small business. I'm going to give you a present later in this video and you don't know it yet. I mean, you know it now because this part's going to be at the end because I'm rambling and... Oh, jeez. Okay, I gotta focus. None of those were words. Despite the... Help, I can't speak. Take a water break, we'll rehydrate, we'll recenter. It's going to be good. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Fine. Do I look fine? Oh, editing Amanda. I'm gonna put you to work today. Why am I so weird? Wow. Wow. Dang, I'm actually crushing it today. I'm getting so much work done. This is awesome. I hope I didn't just jinx myself by saying that. I'm gonna be the most unproductive person ever now. I just want to say thank you for just being a friend. Thanks for hanging out here with me all the time. If you're new here, then welcome. If you've been here for years, then I'm just so glad you're still here. Really appreciate each and every one of your beautiful little faces, and I love all of your faces so much. And make sure you enter the giveaway so that I can send you a present because I love your faces so much. And I will see you in another video really soon, and I hope that you'll be there too. Okay, bye.